What's up guys, Enkiri here. Welcome to vlog number 37. On the menu for today is squat triples, some rack jerks, and a little bit of moderately heavy deadlifting. This session actually went quite well overall. I just had to modify things a little bit here because when I did this, I was deep in the throes of that lower back tweak that I told you guys about last week. So, while it was pretty uncomfortable overall, I was able to squat seemingly without causing further irritation to the injury. However, the original plan for this session was to hit power clean triples, not rack jerk triples. But due to how reactive my lower back was behaving during this time, I was unable to go through that violent cycle of hip flexion and aggressive extension that's required to complete a proper power clean. Since jerks, on the other hand, are more knee dominant, I was able to do these without issue, so I went ahead and put some work in. Overall, the squats went well, all things considered. I was cutting the depth a little bit higher than I normally do because I was babying the injury to some extent, but the bar moved well enough and my technique held up pretty nicely in spite of everything. One thing I've noticed these past couple weeks though is that ever since I came back from that layoff while I was traveling, I haven't been able to find my old squat technique yet. These were fine and the next few sessions have been fine as well, but the technique I've unintentionally adapted isn't quite as efficient as the one I was using before. Even now, with my back feeling back to 100%, I feel like it's been hard getting to the depth I want on my squats, and I don't really have the same level of power as I'm driving them out of the hole. So I've started experimenting a little bit with stance width, degree of foot turnout, and bar positioning. In my most recent session, the weights moved like shit, but I think I discovered what the problem is. It seems like I've started to adapt to a bar positioning that's way too low for me, such to the point that it's no longer optimal. So I can't get to depth without leaning forward to a degree that's larger than I want to, and my power out of the hole has been diminished. So over these next few weeks, I'm planning to play it by ear in terms of loading rather than forcing the weight progression. I'll hang out for a little while and see if I can find that previous technical style that was way stronger than the one I'm using right now, starting with a slightly higher bar position. After the squats, I moved on to jerks from the rack. Since these weren't really part of the original plan, I didn't have a loading protocol or anything to go off of, so I just went ahead and picked a number that I figured I could knock out a few sets with, and it turned out to be pretty easy. The most I've ever jerked is 320 pounds, but that was a few years ago when I became obsessed with these and was doing them multiple times a week. I was much more efficient at the movement back then, even if I'm stronger now. When I was good at these, it became more about pushing myself under the bar more than anything else, whereas here it's more about driving the bar up. Anyway, I knocked out 5 triples here and then finished up the exercise with a set of 5 reps on the 6th and final set. So clearly there's a lot more there if I do decide to get good at the exercise again, but pursuing a big jerk isn't really part of my plan at the moment. Perhaps it will be sometime in the future, as I'd like to make a run at hitting 350 pounds. But for now, I'm going to stick with the power clean because I think it has more carryover to jumping than jerks do, and my main goal right now is building power and explosiveness and seeing how high I can take my vertical jump. These were a fun stand-in though. I always loved throwing big weight overhead, and it's certainly a useful skill to possess. Being able to lock a heavy load into a stable slot overhead helps keep the shoulders strong and supple, and it's good for building core strength and proprioception as well. So even if it's not something you're training for at the moment, it can certainly still have value as a diagnostic tool every so often, just to make sure you still possess a certain level of overall capability. After the jerks, I finished up the day with some deadlifts. Now, these were a bit risky given my condition at the time. Pulling the bar off the floor didn't really bother my back, but setting it back down was causing some problems. The warm-up sets really didn't feel good, but I chanced it and kept going until I got to the working weight, and by the time I did, everything pretty much felt okay. And honestly, it felt fucking easy as hell, and my form was solid, and the bar moved great. Still, I knew from how the warm-ups felt that I was taking a chance. And sure enough, about 20 minutes after I did the set, my back just seized up, and I couldn't bend forward for a few hours after that. But eventually it passed, and day by day the little tweak just faded until it was completely gone. So I can't complain about that. But I still wouldn't recommend you take this course of action. I'm just saying that it worked for me. Anyway, I think that's all I got for today, guys. Please be sure to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And definitely leave me some love in the comments down below. Other than that, if you enjoy the content I produce, please share your favorite stuff somewhere. And together, let's make Forest of Wolves Gym one of the biggest fitness channels on YouTube. Keep training hard, and I will catch you guys next time.